Imagine having a secret skill that nobody knows about. You've got a skill. Maybe you can fly. Maybe you've got super strength, something like that. Wouldn't that be cool? I've just been watching an anime recently about a character. He's called the Ossan Newbie, and there's a whole long title to it. But he's this really strong character who's trained for 2 years and kept dying during training and being brought back to life. But he has this skill that only gets released once in a while. And this one guy who trained him never knew about it until they were in this really big scene. I won't spoil it, but it comes out and it's a powerful scene. I was loving it. I was into it because he's bringing out the secret skill that nobody knew he had. And sometimes for us, it's like that. We have skills, we have things, but we don't tell people. Imagine if you had a secret skill and never told anybody. Does it really matter if you never tell anyone, if you never use it? Well, for some of us, boundaries are something that we have, but maybe we never tell anyone. Maybe we don't know how to communicate those boundaries. So today we're going to talk about 3 keys to communicating your boundaries and what you can do to let people know they're there and to live by them. Hey guys, I'm David Maxwell from ThrivingMan.com, where we help men conquer their everyday chaos and live a thriving life. We've been doing a boundary series lately where we've been helping you understand what it is to have boundaries. So I encourage you, go back and watch all the episodes. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the future ones that are coming out. Because the more you implement boundaries in life, the more successful your life is going to be. Because the truth is, boundaries don't help us unless we communicate them. If you don't tell anyone what your boundaries are, they really don't exist. They don't matter. You can have them in your mind, but they don't really help you unless you communicate. The first key we want to talk about today is understanding your boundaries. You have to understand your own boundaries. If you don't, what's the point? Because if you don't understand it, you're not going to tell anyone about it. You're not really going to hold on to it. So what does that mean? As men, we have to understand the why behind our boundary. Why are you setting this boundary? Why do you set this on your calendar? Why do you make this important in your life? Maybe you have a boundary about your own health. Maybe you're working out a certain number of times a week, and that's very important to you. You've got to know the why behind that because your health is important to you. And when you know that, it's easier for you to understand it and set that boundary. Now, it's important to know because you don't have to justify your boundary to someone else, but you do need to communicate it. Communicating a boundary is not proving that you can have the boundary. You have the boundary. You just want to communicate it. You don't want to worry about justifying it. Like your health. Let's say you put workouts on your calendar. It's on your calendar. If someone says they want you to do something, you say, oh man, I'm sorry, I'm booked at that time. You don't have to tell them what you're booked with. You don't have to justify the fact that you put a workout on your calendar. You just put it on there. It's on your calendar. It's an appointment. So all you got to do is tell the person, man, I've got an appointment already. I'm sorry. How about this time? And you can offer an alternate time. You want to understand your boundaries, not to justify them, but to communicate them to someone else. And understanding your boundary helps you know how to stay strong. Things are going to come at you all the time, and they're going to push on you. They're going to pull on you. And sometimes you don't know, is this the right thing to do? But when you understand your boundary, when you have a conviction behind why you have that boundary, it's easy for you to stay strong in those moments. Again, if working out to you and exercising is an important thing, it's part of your conviction, then it can become a boundary that you communicate to someone else. So when you understand your boundary, then you're better able to communicate that boundary. Okay, the second key of communicating your boundaries is to choose the right moment. You want to pick the right moment, not the wrong moment. Like if you have a boundary in your life, the time to share it is not right in the middle of a fight with someone where you're arguing with them and then you say, this is going to change now. That's not a good time because it's going to cause more of a fight. What you want to do is share when things are good, when things are calm, and say, hey, from now on, I'm going to do this and this. Then it's not something that's instigating someone else. So you want to choose the right moment. There's a right moment and a wrong moment to share a boundary. That's why it's important to pick your boundaries early. Know who you are, know why you exist, have some conviction, bring those boundaries to your life. Then communicating them can be a lot easier in the moment. Because the problem is, if you just make something up in the moment and you've not really thought it through, you've not really understood the why behind it, it could be the wrong thing to say. It could be the wrong boundary. You may be setting it to control the situation, to control the other person. And that's why you want to make those decisions early. You don't want to make them in the heat of the moment. In the heat of the moment, you just want to calm down. Don't set a boundary at that moment. Think about it, and then later when things are calm, that's a good time to bring up those boundaries. And you also don't want to make up something to just get out of something. Like, don't make up a boundary to get out of something you just don't want to do. Oh, I can't do that. I've got a boundary against that or whatever. Or, no, I never do that. But you really don't really believe that. You just don't want to do it at that moment. Just tell them. Just say, hey, I'm just not feeling that right now. Don't make a lie up. Don't say something that you don't really believe, you don't really hold to, because that's manipulating with boundaries. You don't want your boundaries to be used to manipulate, because then you're going to hurt long-term friendships, long-term relationships, and people are going to kind of see that you're not really authentic in what you believe. You don't really have any convictions. You just kind of make it up as you go along. So you don't want to do that. You want to choose the right moment to share your boundary. The third key of communicating your boundaries is to stay consistent. When you pick a boundary, you want to hold to it. I'm not saying there's not a little bit of ebb and flow in it, but I mean the general idea of the boundary is strong. That way you can be consistent with it. You don't want to tell one person one thing, and then because it's someone else, you don't even worry about it. Because what that's going to do is communicate the fact that you don't really know what you believe. There's no consistency there. So then no one's going to believe you when you say, hey, this is important to me. They'll be like, well, you say it's important, but last time you did this. You're not showing consistency. And this can hurt what people say to you, what people do to trust you. They won't trust you. Why? Because you're not being consistent. We've all had people above us. We may have had parents who said something like, do as I say, not as I do. Well, you didn't like that, did you? You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be the person who just makes up something in the moment. You want to be consistent in your boundaries. So no matter who it is, whether it's your best friend or someone you really don't like, you want to be the same with everybody. And this consistency is the key to having strong relationships, good performance at work. All kinds of things come out of your consistency. Boundaries help you be consistent because they help you have convictions and they help you live with direction and purpose. And in that, you want to remember to take responsibility for your boundary, but don't take responsibility for their reaction. Some people will react when you say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I've got this on the calendar. They may blow up. They may freak out. They may try to manipulate you with emotions. What you want to do is stay calm and stay consistent. I'm sorry, something's on my calendar. I can't do it. And they say, well, you're never able to do it with me. You're never. And they blow up. What they're doing is they're trying to control you. You don't want to let them do that. That's where consistency helps you. Now, remember, we talked a couple shows ago about you do want to have grace in situations. You can have boundaries, but in the end, people are very important. So you want to balance that out. You don't want to be manipulated by people, but you also don't want to be so hard that you don't have compassion for others. So that's the way that helps your boundary not be like stone. You want to make it where it's strong, but you don't want to use it to beat people over the head. You want to understand that sometimes interruptions happen. Sometimes you lay down your boundary to serve somebody, to bless somebody, to help somebody. So those situations can come. You just don't want to do it all the time or let other people manipulate and control you into doing that all the time. Because the truth is, consistency is the bedrock of your boundaries. And when you're consistent, you'll be communicating your boundaries regularly and you'll be reaping the benefits. So guys, closing out the show, what I want you to do is to think about what are your boundaries and what are you doing to communicate them? Do you even understand your own boundaries? Do you know why you do what you do? Do you have a faith foundation? That's a key to having really good boundaries. If you don't, I encourage you to get one. But you want to understand the why behind your boundaries. You also want to choose the right moments to share your boundaries. You don't want to do it in the heat of a battle or an argument. You want to choose those right moments, and then you want to stay consistent. That's why you want to think through what they are, have a conviction behind them, then you can be consistent in filling that out. When you do that, your relationships will be better. You'll probably do better at work, might even get a bonus, who knows? But you'll be someone people know they can count on because they know you're a person of your word. So set your boundaries, live them out, communicate them, and you'll see a life that flourishes. Hey, if you want more help, check out thrivingman.com. We have all kinds of resources there to help you grow as a man and live a thriving life. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Thriving Man Podcast. If you want to check out more resources from David and Reese, you can go to thrivingman.com. We'll see you in the next episode.